All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Builders Call. This happens the first and third Tuesdays of every month. Anyone and everyone who's wanting to build and grow an organization is invited to be on this call. And today, what we're going to talk about is the two things that you can do in the next 2 weeks to get great movement into your organization and to grow. So, I'm going to take a quick poll based on what you've learned since your time being here. Would love to hear from everyone what you think those two things could possibly be that could move the needle forward that much over the next 2 weeks, just from your experience. And everybody here is at different levels of experience.
Events.
Invite.
What do you think, Paula?
Follow up for me.
Okay, follow up. Claire, what do you think?
Talk to people.
Okay. How about Becky?
Sorry, my reception's sort of splotchy, but yeah, I just need to make some calls and remember to say things to people in the rush of everything else. Be purposeful.
Cool. Well, I'm going to talk about two things that are happening that you can do over the next 2 weeks to help grow and build. And this is coming off of a weekend here. We had 13 people that flew in from all over the United States that spent a couple of days in my home doing a builders event. And there was two people that attended that are not yet with the XP. And one of them went home and is in the process of onboarding. And so what I want to share with you about that, why that's so important, is that how fast or how slow our business moves and grows is often dictated by, number one, what our own personal process was. And so we sometimes will make up a story of like, well, this is the process that I went through, so this is a process that someone else is going to need to go through. And if your process took 2 years, you may have a real lackadaisical attitude about how fast people can or are willing to move. If your process was fast, then you may have forgotten that your process was fast and just gotten sucked into people's stories and their timing and their everything. So what I want to share is Sarah is the person that attended the retreat this last weekend, and she flew in from Wisconsin. And here's what I want to share with you that's so important is she's an agent with another company, a solo agent with another company, doing an incredible business on her own, looking for growth. And she has seen different things on social media of people that are at EXP posting. And one of the things that was important to her is that she wanted to have someone local that she could work with. And so there is a team that was previously at Remax that literally just onboarded in May. And so while had been watching other people on social media with EXP, she reached out to this former Remax team in Wisconsin that onboarded in, between May and June. And the first conversation that was a third-party validation conversation happened just over 2 weeks ago. Literally her first exposure. So she did not know or have a relationship with the people in Wisconsin that has social media presence, but they started chatting through Messenger, and then they set up a call and they had a conversation, and then immediately the second conversation was with me in a third-party validation call. That conversation went to another third-party validation call that happened with Selena and the state broker, because one of the things that was important for her was support. And less than 10 days later, she was on a plane and at my house and now onboarding to the company. So all of that happened in the course of a couple of weeks. And the reason why I'm sharing that story with you is at the retreat over the weekend, the Ellie is the name of the person that sponsored Sarah, Ellie and Dom, she and her husband. And she was talking about this process that her husband had been in with another prospect where they'd had several meetings. They'd spent a lot of time together over a period of time, didn't use a third-party validation call, didn't get the person to an event. They ended up going a different direction, but all of this time was invested and then gone. And so one of the things that, from a mindset perspective, that's really important is we talk about a thermostat. And Selena and I have been in conversations about thermostats lately because your thermostat, well, let's just back up a second. What's a thermostat designed to do?
Keep the temperature of what you set it.
Yeah. So it's a regulator at whatever you set. So if you have let's talk about this in the context of attraction and recruiting. If your thermostat is set at, it takes X, Y, Z for someone to make a decision, and that's what your thermostat's set at. If you get sometimes it'll go faster, sometimes it'll go slower, but you're going to keep yourself somewhat in that range, right? Versus what's important from a mindset perspective and from an energy perspective is that we come to attraction and recruiting from a place of being neutral and be 100% about that other person and meeting them where they're at, staying one step in front of them. Versus where our own personal thermostat may be, or we may have it set. And so the first thing I want to ask you to do is to create an awareness right now around what your personal thermostat is, around how you think it needs to go, how long it needs to take, how many exposures need to happen, and what that is. So when you check in on what your personal thermostat is, and that is so true, Leo, smart people make decisions fast and change their mind slow. People that are successful and intelligent make decisions quickly. They get everything they need to make the decision and they move, right? I was on a third-party validation call yesterday and the person reached out to me. She had been at a retreat that we did here in February. She's an agent in Santa Cruz. And she says, I'm putting you on with this person. They don't know anything. They haven't seen anything, but I want you to get them over the line because I want to work with her. And I've known her for, 20 years of my 38 years in the business. And I was like, oh yeah, no worries. And so I went into that call with that intention of like, okay, well, this is what's happening, right? And so meeting her where she's at. By the end of that call, literally within the next hour, she was on the phone with Selena going through the Join app and step one of the process for the very reason that Leo said. And so this is a question that people are starting to ask, and I'm starting to get a lot. I was on the phone with a prospect last week, and she said, just give me one reason why I should be at EXP versus the brokerage that I'm at. And I had known this person for 10 minutes because it was a Smart Setter lead call that got set up for me. And so based on what I knew about her in those 10 minutes, it was that she's from India. She was a dentist. She came over and was in Silicon Valley for 4 years in tech and IT, and she's gotten into real estate. She's passionate about it. She's doing it full time. She does 7 to 12 transactions a year and very nice price points. And I just asked her the question. I said, have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich? This was my answer to her question. Why should I join EXP versus be at the brokerage that I'm at? And she said, yes, I have. One of my favorite books. And I said, great. Then you most likely read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And she said, yes, I have. And I said, well, in that context, then you must realize that the brokerage you're at right now has you on the left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant because all you're getting is a commission. And day one, when you move to EXP, you're going to be on the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant. She said, okay. So we've got our next call set up for tomorrow, actually, right? So when we talk about the thermostat of attraction and recruiting, like get it out of your head that it has to be this big, long process. And so that is the foundation for leading up to like, what are the 2 things that can happen over the next 2 weeks that can move the needle forward if you get your thermostat set correctly? And what I mean by correctly is conducive to that people can make decisions within 24 hours to jump on airplanes and do things. Only if there's somebody that is on them that has a sense of urgency, that's painting a vision and holding the space and the energy for them to take that kind of action. And so we have 2 things happening in the next 2 weeks. We have 2 build events, one that's happening in Dallas and one that's happening in LA. I will be attending both of those events and speaking at both of those events. I know Leo's going to be attending and speaking as well. And so these are two opportunities, like, and you might say, well, I don't live in Texas, or I don't live in California, or I'm not in Southern California. Here's my invitation to you to start to change your thermostat is number one, the escalation of events is what happens for people. And this is really important on two levels. Number one, people that are not in your organization with EXP. And number two, people that are already in your organization with an EXP. Sometimes we forget that retention and growth is just as important as attraction and building. And so if the agents in your organizations are not plugging in and attending events, they are not getting their vision expanded and their belief elevated, period. I'm going to say that again. If the agents in your organization are not attending events, they are not getting their vision expanded and they are not getting their belief elevated. And so what does that mean? It means that it is a matter of time, whether that's a month, 6 months, or a year, depending on if that continues, to where something else is going to come along that captures their attention and has them move into a place of possibility and opportunity because they haven't been plugged in here. So I'm going to invite each and every one of you. Yeah, they get disenchanted. So I'm going to invite each and every one of you to, number one, check in on what is the strategy that you have personally to ensure that the maximum amount of agents in your personal organizations are plugging into one or both of the build events that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. And for some people that won't come to California, great, get them to the Dallas one if they're somewhere else in another state, right? It doesn't matter which one they get to, just that they get to one. So number one, going through like, who are the people in my organization? We have a leaders list. Leo's going to be in Dallas too. This is going to be so fun. I'm going to get to spend the week with Leo. I'm so excited. So there is a list that you can get depending on the size of your group that will show you who the leaders are, how many agents there are, how many agents they have in their organization, so that you know and can be in communication with the leaders. Hey, are the leaders attending? Great. Are your people attending? Right? All of this is about duplication, not about one person doing the heavy lifting. So check in. What are who's coming from your organizations to one or both of those events? Number two is from a prospect perspective. Sometimes we ask the ineffective question. And the ineffective question is, do you know someone who is, finish that sentence, looking to buy or sell, not happy at their brokerage? Do you know someone who is? And that question is a question that immediately shuts the mind. The question to ask is, who do you know that? Who do you know that? Who do you know that's looking to grow? Who do you know that's looking for opportunity? Who do you know that, who do you know? And when you ask a specific who do you know question, you're going to get, the brain goes specifically to looking for, who do I know? Versus do you know anyone that, or if you come across anyone that, and then you're asking for that connection or that referral, who do you know that? Totally different question. So in that, who do you know that's serious about taking their life and business to the next level? Who do you know that is ready for positive change? Who do you know that wants to collaborate with people at a higher level than they're collaborating right now? Who do you know that if they keep doing what they've done the last 3 to 5 years in their career, they're going to end up the exact same place over the next 3 to 5 years, and they want something more? Who do you know, right? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? There is one of the conversations that I've been using a lot lately is the one that Russ Lagan has, and it's the 4 stages of a real estate agent in their career. And that could be, who do you know that's an agent that's looking to get to 100 grand a year? You know, they're in production, they're producing, they're looking to get to 100 grand a year. Okay, great. Who do you know, who do you know that is looking to go from that 100 grand a year to 500 grand a year mark, based on them, taking their business to the next level, right? Who do you know that's doing, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in their business in real estate, and they're knocking it out of the park, but secretly they're growing more kind of tired and burned out and, disillusioned with what it takes to keep that going, and is looking to improve the relationship they have with time and money and quality of their life and their lifestyle. Who do you know that's at that place in their career, right? I can help that kind of person. And then the fourth stage is the legacy stage, right? Who do you know that really, that legacy is important to them and they know that it's more than just about the sale and they're looking to create some kind of legacy in their business? Who do you know that is that kind of person? And so those four different stages of somebody where they're at in their career that Russ talks about can be great who do you knows. Just like get them to an event, right? They don't have to get to EXP, get them to the event, right? The event will do the work. And so the thing about that is leverage, right? And so we talk about leverage in a lot of different ways in the business. And for those of you that are doing third-party validation calls, you know that those are a major form of leverage because they're doing heavy lifting for you at a faster rate and a higher rate than you could do for yourself. An event is an escalation of leverage because of the amount of heavy lifting that can be done at the event based on the different voices, the different perspectives, the quality of content, the energy in the room, the community of people that are there, and the conversations that can happen as a result of that. So a lot of times in our thermostats, we'll think, well, if they're interested in EXP, I'll get them to the event. Or if they're open to EXP, or if we've been talking about EXP, I'll get them to the event. Well, that's crazy because it doesn't matter. It's not about EXP at all. It's about that type of person. And are they someone who wants something more, better, different in their life or their career? Are they somebody who's looking for growth? Are they somebody who wants to level up? Are they somebody that wants to take things to the next level? Are they somebody that wants the opportunity to be in a room with people that are doing things that they've not done that will inspire them to think bigger, have a bigger vision, and maybe reignite their fuel and their passion for where they're at right now today in their career path and on the journey that they're on? And so that thermostat that you have becomes really important because it's going to dictate the conversations that you have between now and Build Dallas and Build LA. It's going to dictate the urgency that you have as you go into those conversations. And, you know, if you talk to someone today and check back the day before, is that necessarily the most effective? No. However, what are things that you could do to create an escalation of exposures between now and the event? And there's an idea of two things right now that everybody can do, and I just want to see if they're on your radar. So if you've got people that you're going to be talking to between now and Dallas Build or LA Build, what is a way that you can escalate the exposure process prior to them committing to going to the event or even attending the event, and as a way to lock them in?
I hate to say this, but post on social media.
Okay. What else?
So last night during our call with Rosie, hi Casey,
Hi.
I did a text sprint and I just started texting everybody that I had been in contact with, and I was like inviting them to LA Build or inviting them to Orlando Cruise. And it's funny, I have some people coming to LA that are from Dallas, but they want to meet. I know them, so they want to see me, but they want to meet all of my partners that I showed on the, on the landing page. And I said, Council-Geha will be there, Rosie Rodriguez, Jessie Zagorski, who you've met, and she's supposed to be coming. So I have to buy her ticket. She booked a room. I mean, we're getting there, but it's like, if you just I'm one of the people who took forever, and I was invited to Cabo probably 4 times, you guys. True story. And I finally, I came to the events. Like the first event I went to was Maui. Then I went to convention last fall. I hadn't joined yet, not because I didn't want to. I just had to close up some contracts, and events work. And I texted Jessie the other day and I said, you taught me this because you consistently kept asking me to the same events with your positive energy. And even if I said no, you were like, that's okay, I'll go next time. And, so I know that works because it not only worked for me, but it's working for me right now to attract people to come to events. So I think that's just like, I guess I don't want to say it's a no brainer, but we recruited some people to the event. Colby and Eva and Dylan Casoria had in New York. I'm not from New York, and I had two people that I recruited go there. It's 4.5 hour drive for them, and they went and we recruited them. So I just know that the events work. That's all I wanted to say.
Love that. So to throw gas on the fire between now and the event, imagine if you have someone that you're inviting to the event and you say, along the lines of what you said, Sherry, on the lineup of speakers who's going to be there, and you have the opportunity to get one-on-one with them, to meet them in advance of coming to the event, third-party validation call. So if you have the, the promotional stuff for Dallas has all the speakers on it, same thing as the promotional stuff for LA, and just listen, hey, I know you're thinking about coming to this event. It sounds like I might have switched to a different language and it's Spanish. Wow, am I that good? I would love to be bilingual. No, I'm not Zoom. I'm going to go back to saving it as English. But third-party validate, how many third-party validation calls can you have on my calendar for people that you are inviting to or want to solidify getting to Dallas and getting to LA, right? The opportunity to be able to meet and speak with one of the people that's going to be speaking in advance of actually seeing them speak is huge. And it's not about that, it's about what that person can do for you in a one-on-one time in 30 minutes for your business that's going to get you set up differently. Oh, by the way, and then when you attend the event, it's going to layer that on and you're going to get the next level of so much more. So missed opportunity to not be utilizing third-party validation calls to get people to the event and to make sure that the ones that you say, yeah, I'm coming, actually come, right? I mean, the regional rally that we had here in California, I had two guests coming to with tickets, both that bailed the morning of, one because of, I mean, some real estate related thing, and the other one was like, oh, I didn't put it on my calendar correctly, la 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 la. Okay, well, what is that feedback for me, right? And how I could have done a better job in the inspecting what I expect, making sure everything was dialed in, right? There's things that we can do to manage the energy and the expectations of our guests. And so in the same context, like how many third-party validation calls of guests can you get on my calendar between now and when those events happen and all the way up until the day before, right? Because I've had plenty of people that make a decision the day before, and you never know who's going to do that. And if you don't hold the space for that to happen, it's just not going to happen, right? So, oh, it's so soon. Well, don't be thinking it's so soon in your mind, or oh, it's only a week away, or only it's 3 days away. Like that cannot sit in your thermostat anywhere if you're going to effectively move people that are movable all the way up till the final hour. And so that sense of urgency, when you think about what is the return that you get on that sense of urgency, somebody did that with Brent Gove to get him to the first event that he went to. And look what that created. And nobody knew what was going to happen as a result of him being at that event or not being at that event. But the same thing's true for every single person that you have that you're inviting. None of us know what people are going to do with the opportunities that they're given, right? And none of us know the vision that someone's going to catch from being in a room like that. We only know that if they're not in the room, they're more than likely not catching the vision, because it takes being in a room like that to see a bigger vision. And so I think, particularly there's a lot of people here that are seasoned and that have been around, and you're not brand new to EXP, and you're not brand new to building. And so in the energy cycle of, if you look at the 3 stages of growth in startup, where everything is like new and exciting, and it's like we come out of the gates running and we're like running a race, and how fast can we grow? Like none of us are in the startup phase of our business. And so what naturally happens is our energy and our thermostat starts to, over time, potentially change to, I'm running a marathon, not a sprint right now. And so my invitation to each one of you is to switch your mindset in that the next 2 weeks is a sprint, not a marathon. And sprint for the next 2 weeks. Like, who are the people? And if you don't know who they are, like, get really clear in this call, on the other side of this call, like, who are those people that I'm reaching out to today, that I'm going to like have that? Maybe it is a list of 30 or 40 people that you are just committed to being in front of and to seeing how fast you can move them, or where you can move them, or the ways that you can move them over the next 2 weeks, that you see them sitting with you and next to you in that event, and you see something new starting and blossoming and growing from there. Because guess what? That's the next stepping stone is October, right? So you get a person who catches the vision at the end of July, and they've got a 60, 75-day run if they really want to build and grow something here to get to EXP with now how many people are they bringing to EXP? And you're able to now have a conversation with them of look what happened to you when you got to that event. EXP is going to be like 10 times larger, 10 times more impactful because of what that event is and who's coming with you. So it leads into the conversation of being able to grow, duplicate, and scale at a really high level and at a fast pace because we've got what's called the escalation of events where they're building one on the other, right? And so if you want to be perfectly positioned to go into Q4 and have explosive growth in your organization, I mean, I am amazed and surprised at the caliber of people that are taking calls from us right now and that are open, that have not been open in the past. I just had a call yesterday with a guy that got licensed in 2002, and he's very active in the business, and he took the call because Rick's name was attached to it, and he never actually learned anything about what EXP was about or what was going on with EXP, and he's intrigued, right? So that was the door opener for the conversation, and same thing. We have our next appointment already set up because people don't know what they don't know, right? And so it is the easiest thing in the world to become complacent, for lack of a better word, because we're in the environment. Like, it's another event. Okay, great. It's another event. I've got another group of people going, and it's another event, and it's an event and an event and event and event, right? I mean, for those of you that are actually building and plugging in and utilizing events to build and grow, we're at events sometimes monthly, for sure quarterly, between Brent's events and company events, and we're in this conversation constantly of, okay, who's going with us? How many people are coming with us? Who are those people? And so it just becomes part of our normal life, and we're in the environment, and my mom used to always say this growing up, is that sometimes we develop an appreciation that's based on a lack of appreciation. So yeah, I appreciate what I have, but that's because you're out of the pool that everyone else is in on the left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant, and you're already on the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant as a result of being here at EXP. So, so it's like, yeah, well, this is just normal. Well, it's normal for you, but it's not normal for people that are not with us yet. It's far from normal that are for people that are not with us yet. And the group of people that were just here over the weekend are master coaches with Workman Success Systems. One, a brokerage owner of 15 years. One, mega team, 55 million plus from a Remax that came over with their team of people. Another independent franchise owner that got paid to get out of their franchise agreement to finish that up in advance and be able to move and position over here. And all of these people with anywhere from 15 to 25 plus years of experience in the industry, more excited than they've ever been, more energized than they've ever been, and so thankful to have a platform and a community to go do something that they've never been able to do before and have an impact that they've never actually been able to have in their entire careers that they're all able to have now. Right. So those people were sitting in the room at my house over the course of this weekend, and they don't need to be motivated at all. They've got a competition going on amongst themselves of who's growing and building the fastest and who's putting, and doing that. And it's all in a little text group. They're running a competition right now. We didn't suggest it. That wasn't my idea. That happened from within that group of people. But when you think about the fact that they've been on the sidelines, knowing Rick, knowing that he was with EXP, not here, not participating for whatever reasons, and now they are, right? It is knowing that it's easy for us to get complacent because it's like, yeah, we're here. We've been here for years now. We've been doing what we do for years, and people come and they come and they stay, or they come and they go. That's the only two things that happen. People come and they stay, or they come and they go. And the ones that come and stay are the ones that come and grow, right? And the growth isn't necessarily straight up. It's this, like anything, right? It's the expansion, retraction, expansion, retraction, expansion, retraction. But what happens for those of you that know that game is that as the retraction happens, before the next expansion happens, the foundation that you have underneath you becomes more and more solid. And so for every next layer of growth that happens, there's going to be some retraction, and those things get, I don't want to say things, those people that were not a long-term match for being in this ecosystem go, and what's left is a stronger foundation. And so that growth, that expansion and contraction that happens over the course of building something here, you get a more solid and seasoned leadership with an an organization that matures over time with leaders that mature over time, their visions become larger and the impact that they have, provided they stay and provided they stay in growth mode, even when growth looks like contraction. I'm going to say that again. Stay in growth mode, even when growth looks like contraction. And that is a really, really big, important point because sometimes growth looks like contraction. And we think it's, oh, we're going backwards. We're not going backwards. Contraction is part of the growth, right? And so this again is like, how do we set our thermostats to be dialed in to create what is possible over the long term? Because it is a long-term play, right? So I want to come, I'm going to pause because I've been talking for a long time now and would love to hear from Will because he's got his hand up, and then anyone else that has something like to contribute to this conversation.
So on the money. I just so I sent I mean I got devastated, right? Like my top builder left to go to a small little local brokerage, and it knocked the wind out of my sails. And I had to kind of reframe. So just recently, like I reached out to all the local people I have, and out of like 35 people local to the office that I own and pay for them to use, none of them show up. But I messaged all of them, and out of 35, like 5 people responded that they haven't given up and that they're in. And to reframe, my reframe was not, oh, everybody's out of it. My reframe is, oh, now I get to rebuild it the way I want it. I want it built. I get to rebuild it. So on the money.
I love that. I love that. And this is like one important thing, right? Like sometimes we forget. Sometimes I forget. I won't say that anyone on this call forgets because I always assume I'm surrounded by people better than me. But sometimes I forget that that I will allow my standards to drop at times for the sake of a faster growth. I'm going to say that again. I will allow my standards to drop at times for sake of what would be perceived as a faster growth, meaning bringing people into the organization that I don't necessarily wouldn't resonate with or have to my house or go on vacation with, right? And those people always know people that maybe I don't know. So I always want to keep the network open. However, I think it's important to manage energy and know that if I'm changing or adjusting my standard, to not be attached to the outcome of what's going to happen there and keep realizing that the beauty of what we get to do is to be surrounded by people that we really want to be surrounded by in life and business, and people that we're energized to grow and build with over a period of time, and people that when like I see them on my calendar, it's not like, oh my gosh, what problem are they having now? Because the only time I ever see them is when we have, when there's an issue or they're not happy about something, right? Versus the like, oh, when I see people like you guys on my calendar that are putting people on my calendar, I know that I'm going to be meeting great people that I want to be doing business in life with, or else you wouldn't put them on my calendar, right? And be in that conversation. And so this whole like experience that we get to create for ourselves at the end of the day, it's really powerful to say, I don't want everybody in our EXP organization. Do not want everyone. And here's who I do want, right? And if that's you and there's enough of what you want in what I want, and we can find a way to do that together, well, then let's do it. And if not, man, time is the most valuable thing, that time and our energy, right? Because our time, our energy is our heart. And when your heart is in a place of being inspired and excited and fulfilled and what you can create there, versus when your heart is broken and tired and exhausted, what gets created is something entirely different, right? So this again is around the environment that we're going to have, and we're going to create and keep around ourselves. Thank you for sharing that, Will. Who else? Kim.
I just want to share that, like what you just said about who you want around you is so important, because I know early on I brought people over to EXP hoping for wonderful things for them, but it just wasn't in the cards, and some people left, and it like hurt my feelings. And then I went, wait a minute, no, they just cleared the path. And I have one of those little boards on that you can change the letters on my dresser, and it says, don't lead or follow, just get out of the way. And I feel like the right people will stick, you know, like there's someone on the call right here. They stick. They're like true to like what's important for me, like the quality of people. So I don't look for quantity. Like I remember Rich Tomasini on one of his calls said, he goes, I don't want everybody. And not everybody wants me, and that's okay. But he focuses on like six people a year for his front line, and he just builds relationships. And so I had a call with Wade, the one that I want to get on a call with you, a three-way call. And I've known him for a long time. And I got re-energized just talking to him and sharing like some of the experiences that we've had. And this guy will like link arms and run like a draft horse with me. He's like amazing. And it's like, I want that energy around me. I want Paula around me who's on the call. And we've got a PSI in Denver planned with 4 other gals. And it's like, that's what I want around me, because that fires me up.
September.
Yeah.
So Michelle Terry, who's just here this weekend, she's coming in from Boston. She'll be going to that one too. So you guys will
Oh,
have.
awesome. I'll have to connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love that. So true. So true. Okay. So as we, I'm not going to belabor. Oh, darn it. Hold on. I need to pause. My washing machine repair person is calling. I haven't had a washer. So give me a second. I'll be right back.
Ones that are swimming. Like, don't save the ones that are going the other way. Don't chase them. Save the ones that want to be near you. You know,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
a lot
that's
easier.
I love that. It's like it's like the lifeboat, right? You got a beautiful lifeboat, you got all the life vests, you got food, we got water, you got a couple of people that are reaching towards the boat, and then you got people that are literally swimming away from the boat. They're going the other direction. And sometimes we
Real
get
estate-
stuck.
Real estate's like the Titanic that just went down, right? The next probably year is gonna be exactly like that. And it's like they're either gonna join you or they're not. And either way is okay.
Exactly.
And thank you for that. Thank you for jumping in.
Of course. You got your
Yes.
washer and dryer?
He'll be
Like,
here in 12 minutes.
oh, cool. Right on.
I have a
Now
pile of
Casey has
laundry.
clean clothes.
The laundry room will be an interesting project after they go.
You just gotta keep buying new clothes, Casey. It's okay, no problem.
I know that was Rick's deal. You know, something would show up in the mail every day. I'm like, what is this? He's been online shopping.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So Leo, I overheard you saying it's about staying close to the fire and staying in the conversations, right? And so I want to acknowledge each of you for plugging into this call and continuing to plug into this call, because like this is it's a never ending space of growth, right? And there was a call that we listened to one of the recordings of, it was actually the Tahoe Mastermind that we listened to as part of the training here over the weekend. And one of the things that Rick said in that, and I hadn't listened to it in a long time and forgot about it, is that your business will never outgrow the level that you've grown yourself personally, period. And so if you want to do something you've never done, create something you've never had in the context of why we're here, which is the builder's call, and you want to get to 100, you want to get to 500, you want to get to 5,000, you want to get to 10,000, the person that grows and leads and develops at each one of those stages in an organization like that is not the same person previously, right? And there's that saying that we're perfectly equipped to help the person that we used to be, which is true, right? And so we can identify people. I know I can, and I'm sure each of you on the call can as well. When you see people that have the it factor, that that catch the vision, that are willing to work, that'll do what it takes, that that are somebody you can link arms and build with and grow with. You can identify those people, and because you're further down the road, right? As I went into the retreat this weekend, it's like, well, this is a kind of an intimidating group on one hand, right? Because they're the best of the best. They're master coaches at Workman Success Systems. They've got 15 to 25 years in the industry, each of them. They've been doing things at the highest level, and like here I am. And they're going to be looking at me for growth and transformation in a space that they're already in like the top 1% in the entire US doing at the highest level. And so it's like, oh, well, that's exciting. Guess what? Guess what Casey gets to do? Casey gets to step the freak up, which I did. So I grew over the weekend, right, to stay in front of that kind of a group of people, energetically and emotionally, and create a space and give them an experience they hadn't yet had based on things that I've experienced that they haven't experienced because of the level that I've invested in myself over the years, the trainings I've done, and how I've integrated those into my business and my life. Um, so why I'm sharing that with you is two things. Number one, never underestimate the value that you have to bring to the person that you were yesterday and how you can help them get and grow to that next space, right? They all want to grow and build and nourish and create massive organizations with impact. Well, I know how to do that, right? I know how to do that. I may not have sold as much real estate as them ever, nor will I. I may never had my own brokerage ever, nor will I. Or walk that path, but that doesn't mean I don't have something to contribute that can help them get to the next level. And what does it require of me? It requires of me for me to keep growing myself, to be the person that goes on to have an organization of 5,000 agents, 10,000 agents, 20,000 agents over time, right? And so that is what you have all signed up for as well. And when we know what we've signed up for, then all there is to do is execute and go do it and get it done over time, right? Will.
So on that point, I think a lot of us. So I've went down a different path on my social media, and I'm helping more. But a lot of times, I would tell myself, "Who am I to say I can help people?" Right? And I think all of us have that limiting belief. But I heard a story, and it just put everything into perspective. And it was about a scene in a movie. So I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Catch Me If You Can, right? So it was with Leonardo DiCaprio, but essentially he played this famous con artist, and in one section of the story, he taught a philosophy class at a college, right? So at Brigham Young at BYU, he taught a whole semester at a college of philosophy, and when they finally captured him, they were reviewing everything, and they said, "Hey, you taught a whole semester of college and no one knew the difference. How did you do that?" He said, "Easy. I just had to be one chapter ahead." And all of us are 10, 20, 30, 40 chapters ahead. Just because somebody's selling a lot of houses doesn't mean that they're bright and know what they're doing. They just may know one little piece. They may just know how to grab attention. That's it. That's it. So again, I think all of us have something to add. You kind of, I think we assume because we know something everyone else does, but trust me, they don't. There's so many chapters behind, and they don't even get it. Like they can't even fathom some of the things that we talk about on these calls.
It's so true. So one of the people that was here, and the majority of this organization is under him. He's like, at the end, because I said, I'm gonna reveal to you the process that I use, and when you see it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, right? And so from what happened day one till the end of the second day of the retreat, and I had, that I said that at the beginning of day one, and then like the takeaway from one of them was, you run a process on me every time we've been in a conversation. You're running this process. I'm like, yep. And I just ran it to facilitate these 2 days, and I run it. There's never a time I don't run it. And he's like, but I had no idea before now you were running a process. And it just felt great when we would have conversations. I'm like, exactly. That's why I run the process because the process guarantees a certain level or caliber of experience, right? And you guys run that process when you do third-party validation calls the way that I trained on how to do them. And, there's people on this call that have integrated those at a really, really high level. And so that, yes, everything is a framework. And so to be able to deliver that kind of experience and have it duplicate in an organization, is pretty cool. But then also to be able to break down and have people see like, oh, well, if you're doing that, I can do that too. And look at what the experience is and look at what the outcome can be. So as we come back and kind of land the plane and wrap up for today, we came to this conversation today about the two things that we all can do over the next 2 weeks to ensure some incredible growth in our organizations. And what those two things are is the two things are the events and utilizing the events as leverage. And to utilize those events as leverage, it's checking in on your thermostat and setting your thermostat, your internal thermostat, to possibility, and that the night before someone could make a flight and get on a plane and be there the night before, if I am holding the space and inviting and having conversations with a sense of urgency and possibility, looking to find the right people, right? People whose time is now do not need a push or a convince. They need an invitation and an opportunity. And so each of us have the opportunity between now and those two events to set our own internal thermostats and go, okay, what if I was to not be in a endurance race? What if I was to be in a sprint for the next 2 weeks? A sprint to get the people that are in my organization attending the events that are not yet committed to attending the events, because I know that's going to be important to expand their belief and vision. And if they don't, they're more than likely, we're going to have retention issues down the road because they've missed the opportunity to plug in and grow. So who are the people that are already in the organization that you're going to personally make sure get to that event because they've heard from you, one or both of those events? And then who are the people that you are going to be extending invitations to, conversations with, and having a space of urgency, excitement, possibility, opportunity of like, yeah, this is only happening once. Like there's not another one of these that you can get to this year. And so my suggestion is hold off October. Don't talk about October now. I'll be right down.
Okay, thank you.
Don't talk about October now because that loses a sense of urgency, right? Like if you go, oh, well, you can go the one in 2 weeks, or we've got this event in October. Oh, October's better, I've got a lot going on right now. Don't talk about an event talk about the next event that's happening. And you always promote to the next event that's happening. So you keep the energy and the intensity and the enthusiasm for the next event. Oh my gosh, you missed it. But now on the other side of that, you're able to follow up and have a conversation with them on here's what you missed. Let's make sure you don't miss the next one, and then get them locked in for October. So there's a whole strategy around it. And I always say, if you treat the business like a business, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to cost you money because hobbies cost money. They don't make you money generally, right? So like get your business brain on. Like this is a business just as much as your buyer seller business is a business and any other business. And so be a strategic business person. Bring that energy and that intentionality. Get your thermostat set and keep it in a place where you create a space for the right people. I mean, there's more Brent Goves out there that have not yet come to EXP. Now, and when I say that, I don't mean Brent Gove specifically. I mean people that are hungry for opportunity, that have given the opportunity and understand it, will do great things with it. And I want to see them in your organization, because that means they're in our organization. So let's do this. Load up my calendar with 3-way calls to help me help you be able to get people confirmed for the event if they haven't yet decided to come, or if they are coming, get them locked in by having the opportunity to meet and have a conversation with somebody that's going to be speaking and training at the event before they even get there as an extra to them. Right now is the time. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Thank you for being who you are, and we'll see you in Dallas and LA. Love you guys. And on the free
Thanks,
Friday
all.
call this Friday. Bye.